In this video, I'm going to teach you the basics about one of the most important things in speed solving, which is look ahead. So the one thing that a lot of people get frustrated with in F2L is not being able to find F2L pairs around the cube to solve. This means that between the F2L pairs that you solve, you probably have a large pause as you try and recognize which pieces to solve next. If you've watched fast speed cubers solve, you'll notice that they have very few pauses between their F2L pairs, and this is because they're very good at looking ahead. So fundamentally, look ahead is not looking at the pair that you're currently solving. So for example, if we're solving these two pieces, as we solve them, we're not looking at those two, but we're looking at other pieces around the cube as we execute those moves. To do this well, you need to be comfortable with your F2L to the point where you can execute most of the moves to solve an F2L pair without looking at the cube. This allows you to divert your attention away from the pieces that you're currently solving and look around the rest of the cube for pieces that need to be solved. So here's a quick drill to show you the real basics, the real fundamentals of looking ahead, and it's basically just a two-step process. So the first step is to look at your pair and figure out how you're going to solve it, and then the second step is, whilst you're solving that pair, you're not looking at the pieces that you're currently solving, you're looking around the cube for pieces that you're looking to solve next. For example, we want to solve these two pieces into this slot, and we can do that by doing an R prime to hide this corner, a U2 to move this edge over to here, and then we'll have the first F2L case which we insert with an RU R prime. So in our head, because we're comfortable with F2L techniques, we already know how we're going to solve these two exact pieces and the moves that we're going to do it, and we can almost visualize it in our head. So then the challenge becomes, as you're executing the moves to solve this F2L pair, looking around the cube to see which F2L pieces that you want to solve next. So let's go ahead and do that. We notice we have this edge piece here which might be useful to us, and we have this white corner sticker down here which also might be useful. So R prime, U2, R. This edge stays in this exact position, and so does this corner. Then when we do an R, this corner comes into the top. If we do a U, this corner comes over here. And we do an R prime, and it stays over there, and this edge remained here the entire time. And then we can simply move on and solve the next F2L pair. This is because while we were solving this F2L pair into its slot, we weren't looking at the pieces that we were currently solving, we were looking for pieces to solve next. Now in terms of exactly where you should be looking whilst you're solving an F2L pair, basically just look around the top layer, and then if you bring any slots into the top layer, look for the pieces that come out of those slots when you do so. So let's go on to the next pair, and the real challenge is to keep looking ahead for every single F2L pair that we do. So we notice this corner and this edge, which are quite easy to solve because all we need to do is move this edge into the back here, hide it away from the slot, then bring the corner on top, and then bring them back down and insert them. So if we do an R, we notice these two pieces come out together like that. U2 moves them over there. R prime, nothing happens. U moves these two pieces over here. R, U prime, R prime does nothing to these two pieces. So the whole time, while we were solving this F2L pair, because we're comfortable with it, we were able to track the location of these two pieces the whole time, and then we can go in and directly solve these two. Another technique that we can use to help us look ahead during F2L is what's known as deduction. Basically all this is determining from what you can see on the top layer what the pieces are in the back slots. This can be very useful when, for example, we've already solved 3 F2L slots and we only have, say, this corner and its corresponding edge to solve into the back slot. So here we can see that all the yellow edge pieces are in the top layer here, and so the blue and orange corresponding edge to this corner must be in the back here. We also notice that from this orange sticker here that the edge must be correctly solved into its position. So just by looking at this layer and this sticker here, we know exactly where the orange and blue edge piece is without having to rotate the cube. From here, we can take the edge out into the top layer like that, and then solve these two pieces into the back. This can be useful for corner pieces as well. So in this example, we've solved again these first 3 F2L slots, and we have this edge which belongs in the back here, and we see this white sticker in the back right position in the bottom. So we already know that here is where the white corner is, So we can take it out and then insert this F2L pair in the back, like that. One misconception that people have is that you only need to look ahead in your F2L. This is wrong. You need to be looking ahead constantly throughout your entire solve. This means that even whilst you're solving the cross, you need to be thinking about the first F2L pair. Whilst you're solving the last F2L pair, you need to be looking ahead and thinking about your OLL. And even in inspection, whilst you're inspecting for the first few cross pieces, you need to be looking ahead for the next few after that. This will take a lot of practice to get used to and for it to become automatic. And a large part of look ahead, to be perfectly honest, just comes naturally through a lot of practice and a lot of solving. Another tip when you're starting out practicing look ahead is to slow down your turning as you finish solving an F2L pair to help you look around the cube for the next pieces. So it can be very tempting to, if we see this connected F2L pair, just turn as fast as we can to do the RU', to insert it into this slot, like that, and then go ahead and look for the next few pieces. If we undo that, we see that if we insert this pair more slowly, it gives us far more of a chance to look around the cube for the next two F2L pieces. So if we do RU', like that, we see that these two end up in this position. And the time that we save by looking ahead a lot better is much more compared to the time that we gain by inserting the pair quickly. So this should help you eliminate some of the pauses in your F2L. So the last thing I'll say is that instead of treating F2L as 4 distinct pairs that you need to solve into 4 different slots, you need to think of it more as a constant flow from the cross to the OLL. And this might be a little bit of a weird mindset to think about, but just give it a shot.